Sometimes a piece is so damaged that we don't even know where to begin with the repairs. If you saw this old broken table sitting on the side of the road, would you just drive by, or is it in your nature to want to fix it? But what if you didn't know how to fix it? Would you still at least try to give it a second chance? I hope as you watch, you'll at least think of your own second chance story. This is one of the worst original finishes I've seen in a long time. What's left is a weathered, coarse, faux tiger oak factory finish meant to look like true quarter sawn oak, similar to these. I would say this is what rock bottom looks like, but with most heavily damaged pieces, hidden beneath is often still a strong foundation to work with. But first it's necessary to strip away all of the worn layers to appreciate what's left, something raw, real, and finally ready for a change. This eco-friendly QCS finish remover could take minutes or several hours, depending on the type of finish and the thickness. This looks to me like lacquer, and most of it scraped right off after only a few hours. I don't often know the stories behind these old neglected furniture pieces, but as I worked on this one, I was reminded of another story I shared recently about being given second chances, so I began thinking about some of the ways I may be able to use this table once restored. After scraping off most of the old finishes and the finish remover, I'll use the surface cleanser to neutralize the chemical stripper and prep this piece for sanding. This is a simple early 1900s piece of furniture with little to no monetary value, but the reason I often continue to work on pieces like this is because each one yields very special memories. Throughout my workshop, there are many pieces in need of restoration, and sometimes I put off starting a project because I have this perfect vision for a piece in my mind, and sometimes I don't believe I'm capable of achieving that vision. But there is one advantage to finding a free, heavily damaged table like this. Its condition is basically rock bottom, where there's a solid foundation to start over again without worrying too much about causing more damage. I'm cutting a new piece for the back side of the drawer that's missing. To some, it's probably simple work, but I'm not much of a woodworker, and I've only been restoring furniture for a few years. I suppose most of us wait to act until we're confident we can succeed, but I think the most important part of restoration isn't necessarily having the skill, it's having the heart to care enough to try. That's at least what this project means to me in the moment. It's not about perfection, not expertise, I guess just the choice to say, this still matters and I'm not ready to give up on it. For this basic table, it's probably not necessary to repair the minor damage to the sides of the drawer, but this is often a great opportunity to sharpen my skills and to work with a few more hand tools that I'm still learning to use. There are probably better methods for completing many of these tasks, but I often find joy in trying to figure things out as I go, especially when there's little to no risk involved. While the pieces are still apart, I'll use this opportunity to sand the surfaces with 150 grit sandpaper and the Surf Prep 3x4 sander. Once dry, the water-based hide glue will likely create a stronger bond at the joint than even the surrounding fibers of this softwood, so I'm not worried about any breaks in the near future. I'll slowly plane and sand this newly repaired section until it fits the profile of the rest of the side. Then I'll match the original dado with a 1/4 inch straight bit on the router table. I intend to keep many of the character marks on this old piece, including the nail holes, because I believe the imperfections are often what tell the true stories. There's almost always room for improvement with any repair, but I was pleased with the results and decided to move on. I'll first drill a few small pilot holes to avoid cracking this soft wood. This piece appears to be about an 1/8 inch short on one end, but I'm holding this flush with my left hand so that the grooves align for the drawer bottom. These are probably all techniques that would make any professional woodworker a little uneasy. For many of us, life is always shifting, and change seems to be the only constant. In my home, I've learned to embrace that change by surrounding myself with a mix of both vintage and modern furniture. There's something grounding about the past, and something exciting about the future, and I like creating a space where both can exist in harmony. I've slowly been making over each room in the house, and now that one guest bedroom is finished, I'm adding the last piece to the office makeover with a ceiling fan by Dreo. I installed a Dreo ceiling fan 712S to each room, and it's been a much-needed upgrade for my home during the hot summer months. These fans are powerful and quiet, and the sleek low-profile design fits every room perfectly. With the Dreo app or the remote, I can control 6 fan speeds, the fan direction, and the multiple options for ambient lighting. Even better is the reversible DC motor that keeps air circulating in the winter too, so it's not just a summer fix, it's a year-round upgrade. You can use my code MADCITYMODERN20 for a 20% discount on the Dreo website, so click the link in the video description for more options. And thank you Dreo for sponsoring this video. As I finished preparing for a new finish, I thought I could probably mimic the original factory finish with more painted grain patterns, but I'd much rather keep this lumber exposed and embrace all of the scars and the visible dings and scratches that are part of its history. Every afternoon for several days in between much bigger projects, I spent a little time in the shop working on this old table. There were days when I wanted to give up, days when the wood cracked unexpectedly, or when a drawer face splintered in my hands. But every time I considered quitting, I thought about how lucky I am to be doing this work in the first place. After an 18-year career, this new opportunity to now work on old neglected furniture is in many ways my own second chance. This table wasn't gently set aside. It was carelessly neglected and exposed to the elements. At some point, it stopped being useful to the owner, or maybe someone just didn't have the time or the interest to fix it. But I believe this neglected piece still has a purpose and can be saved. As I cut out a new corner piece that will help secure the leg, I'll explain why I spent so much time working on this old broken table, and why I chose to apply a simple clear shellac finish followed by a layer of dark wax polish. There will be project videos in the near future where I only explain the steps for the restoration, and other videos where I don't speak at all. But I wish for this video to be a true reflection of the valuable things that so many of us learn through difficult times. Maybe a video I can look back on in 10 years and appreciate. I started this restoration journey a little over 4 years ago, in a quiet garage with white walls, a single power outlet, and a bare concrete floor. Back then I didn't have much, but what I did have was time, a few tools, and a belief that maybe I could learn as I go. Over the years, I've restored and resold a lot of high-end furniture, but one of the unexpected gifts of making these videos is that the content itself helps support the work. I don't have to rely solely on selling each piece to keep going. And that's given me a kind of freedom. A freedom to pick up the broken, the discarded, the pieces that no one else wants, and repurpose them into something useful. Sometimes not for resale, but to slowly build out my dream workshop one project at a time. Right now I've got more than 10 restored pieces serving a purpose right here in the shop. Cabinets, benches, tool stands, each one telling a small part of a much bigger story. This table might end up in someone's home again one day, and I mentioned that I may have a new use for it, but I'm still not sure what that is. Maybe it's already served a purpose by encouraging someone to pick up the broken pieces and give something another chance. For me, this is a quiet step toward the workshop that I dream of. Not a modern-looking workshop with the fanciest tools, but one full of warmth, centuries of untold stories, and second chances. I'm not quite there yet, but I can see it slowly coming together. My name is Barry, and thanks for watching. And if this story resonated with you, let me know. I'd love to hear your second chance stories in the comments. Goodbye for now.